Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in the early hours of yesterday, I came across this video that I will share with you in the next couple of seconds on how people in the United Kingdom actually start struggling with managing living expenses. And it's really shocked that, even those who are, British citizens, those who have got access to a certain level of benefit are actually struggling to meet up with their living expenses. And this brought, sparked up a conversation between myself and a very close friend last night about how immigrants are being able to like manage the increased cost of living. And aside from the increased cost of living, we're also, saving up to, pay for visa fees that are on the high side. And we started having a conversation about what are the other things that one can do in order to help beat this massive increase in living expenses and still able to save enough money for the future. So if you're in this situation or you'd like to join the conversation on what are the things you think people need to do as immigrants in the UK to help manage the living expenses. Do you want to stick to this video till the end? And you also want to join the conversation in the comment section of this video. So let me show you the video I saw on Sky News to see how people are actually struggling with managing their living expenses.
They're the bills that hit hard every month. And Lowry, like many, is struggling to make it work.
It's almost like you're drowning daily, trying to find money.
To understand it, we mapped it out.
When you look at it like this and you realise that every penny you have coming in is paying just bills, it's the big amounts, these, It's actually quite frightening.
Which of these is the hardest to wrestle with?
I think energy, because the energy, I never get on top of it.
She's a single mum who works part-time in Lancashire and receives universal credit, but just can't keep up.
I mean, there's days I don't have any money in the bank at all. So when the bills are paid, there's nothing left.
At all?
Nothing. Often.
If she worked more hours, she would lose things like her council tax exemption. This battle to keep afloat is painful.
I've become so numb to the outside world and living and everything now, I almost feel like I'm detached. So really detached, emotionally detached from things. My daughter apologises on a regular basis if she asks for anything. And children shouldn't be having to do that. She shouldn't feel like she's done something wrong to ask for something.
These types of costs present challenges to households all over the country, whatever their income, whether they're in the kind of struggle that Lowry's in, whether they're just trying to get by on a living wage, or indeed, if they're a family with two good incomes.
Like the Matthewmans, who live in Essex with their 3 daughters.
Let's start with food.
800.
Tracy teaches in a primary school and Chris looks after the fleet of vehicles his company uses. He's got a spreadsheet to manage everything they have to pay for.
School dinners, breakfast clubs, school trips, childcare,
Birthdays.
netball club, everything.
I think he's on there every day normally, tinkering with it in some way, seeing where we can save money.
Their combined income means they should be comfortable.
We are only one paycheck away from not being able to afford all of the things on our budget.
I don't feel like there is an end and I don't feel like there's a fix. I think something drastic has to happen.
The percentage of the cost of living is going up compared to our wages, and everyone's just expected to accept that. Everyone's expected to just carry on and somehow manage. But there are lots of families that can't manage.
That struggle has become far too normal for millions across this nation.
That, living in the UK can be very expensive. And if your income is not matching your living expenses or the cost you incur on a monthly basis, it becomes almost impossible to save up. I've had conversation with loads of immigrants in the UK that lives from paycheck to paycheck. So the moment they get their salary, practically 95 to 99% of all of the income goes on different bills, and which is really understandable and becomes even more difficult when you've got family. Now, personally, this is what I've been able to, some of the strategies I've been able to put in place that has really helped me increase my income and my expenses still remains on the same level. Even after getting married, having a baby, I was able to still manage my income slash my, my expenses. And this is a strategy I used. So many people I know used, and it has really been helping. So if you're struggling with managing your expenses, then you should want to watch the video to the end. So the first thing I did personally was to upskill. Now the truth is, upskilling opens you more to different opportunities. And I think my first promotion after I got my first data analyst job in 2022, pushed my earning to about 10 grand a month. That was like an increase in, the amount I was earning at that time. And this was possible because I was able to upskill. I learned new data analytics tools that, opens me up to more opportunities. And 7 months into my first job, I was able to land myself another, senior data analyst role that pushed my income high. And at that time, even though the income went high, my expenses was still the same. And even to some level, when I got, decided to buy a new property and bought a house, my expenses was still almost around the same level as what it used to be even before getting a property. And that's because upskilling, opened me opportunities, and I was able to like have loads of extra incomes. Because of the skill set I've been able to build, over time. So upskilling, if you think the job you're doing is not paying you enough, it's time to upskill or reskill to take up, job roles in other fields and, explore those other opportunities. Now, one of the things I also did aside from upskilling was my debt management. Now, I understand that, trust me, my wife makes jokes of this sometimes that why do you have spreadsheets on tracking our living expenses? And that is me really. I just feel it makes sense to be able to track, how much is going out, how much your outgoings are, and also how much your income is on a monthly basis. So you know what level you are. What is the percentage of your income going on rent? What is percentage of your income going on miscellaneous fees? Percentage going on, car insurance and all of those, expenses that come on a monthly basis, energy usage and all of that. So managing your debt is really important. And one thing I tell people is try as much as possible if you can not to, depend so much on credit cards and overdrafts. Because the truth is with overdrafts, you get charged. So it means that you're, getting yourself into a debt because of, you being unable to pay off for stuff. And aside from the debt, you incur additional interest on that debt. So if it's possible, try and avoid, you know, um, relying so much on overdrafts and credit card. It's good to have credit card for those of you following this channel. It helps you to be able to like build that credit score and all of that, but not over reliant. Any amount of money that you can't spend, or you can afford in your savings account or in your, bank account, you shouldn't be spending such amounts on your credit card. You know what I mean? So debt management is something that has really helped me personally. Now, another thing you might probably want to consider is side hustles. Now, trust me, I was telling a friend last night that if you don't have an extra income, you wouldn't be able to live the kind of life you want to live in the UK. I don't care how much you earn on your day job. After tax deduction, you probably have very little left. And having a side hustle to augment your income is one way to live afloat or live above, this increasing cost of living and all of that. Before I, got married, I used to live in, a shared apartment. I don't pay any bills. I just pay my rent, and that's it for the entire month. But starting a family, exposed me to having to pay certain bills that I didn't used to pay before. And I think one of the things people don't really talk about is that you need to make plans for that. If you're planning to get married or planning to have a child, you need to make plans of that because having a child restricts you to how much, the kind of job you can take because of you're considering childcare. And if you don't have adequate plan, you might struggle and get stuck along the way, not being able to make enough income because of the responsibilities that you've got. So considering side hustle is non-negotiable. Side hustle that you have more control over the time you can put into work and able to make reasonable amount of money without I'm struggling a lot. For those who are in the tech space, I think considering remote and freelance opportunity is one way. So you just imagine the money you're getting from your freelance job or remote, freelance job at least covers maybe your car repayment or your car insurance and probably covers some level of your energy bill. At least the income coming from that helps manage the living expenses, which is really, really, really important. Now, one other thing I also try to do to help me manage my living expenses is budgeting and prioritizing. Now, trust me, if I think something is not extremely important or needed, I don't, invest so much on those things. So I try to like budget stuff and prioritize. Of course, there are always situations where you have like, unforeseen or unexpected circumstances happen. But trust me, I think budgeting and prioritizing things will definitely help you save a whole lot of cost and you still be able to live that kind of life you want, still be able to go for that holiday, still be able to save for that property, still be able to, buy whatever you want to buy. So budgeting is really important. So if you don't budget, I had a conversation with someone a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "Do you have an idea of how much you spend? What's the percentage of your income that goes on living expenses?" And he doesn't have an idea. I'm like, "How come?" He said, "When you just get the salary, you just wait for all of the debits to leave, and any amount left, they try to manage it for the month." And I'm like, "No, you should plan. You should understand how much is living, so that if you're looking at getting extra income, you know how much you're trying to augment your living expenses with. So yeah, if you're living in the UK as an immigrant and you're able to get the hack on how to manage your living expenses, please share with us in the comment section. You might be helping someone out there to manage their finances and also help them live that fulfilled life in the UK as an immigrant. It's really, really important to ensure that we're able to and manage all of this, costs and have enough savings. I know people have been looking at getting properties, but the ability to save for that property is not almost there. So, I remember I shared a video a couple of months ago about how much you spent getting the first property. It's really a lot. So if you don't have enough savings, you can't be able to save for that property. And if you don't save for that property, you keep paying rent, which is not adding any equity, or you're not pushing on any investment at all. So yeah, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, share experience in the comment section, and someone that has an experience on how to live above that will share their thoughts also in the comment section. If you'd like to join the conversation, please close in the comment section and let's have a chat about how you're managing your living expenses as an immigrant in the United Kingdom. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do well to hit on the subscribe button to join the amazing growing family. And my returning subscribers, thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So this video of this video, and I'll sure see you guys in my next video. Thank you.